Hi, welcome back to Sugar Spice and Rosé. My name is Erica and today I'm going to be showing you two of my current obsessions, coconut cake and Tres Leches cake. That's why I combined them to make this coconut Tres Leches cake. This cake is fluffy, it's moist, and it's packed with a lot of coconut flavor. So if you're interested in seeing how I do this, please keep on watching. And we're going to start with the ideal sponge cake for this recipe. Begin by separating your egg yolks and your egg whites. And with your egg whites, you're going to create a soft peak meringue. And to make this meringue, you're going to combine the egg whites and the sugar. So you're going to slowly incorporate that sugar into the egg whites. And by doing this, you're slowly dissolving the sugar and you're not overwhelming the egg whites, which is going to create a really nice and stable meringue. And as you can see, the egg whites are a bit frothy and then the structure changes. Visually, it changes. And as soon as it becomes shiny, you don't want to overmix it, because if you overmix this meringue, it's going to be very difficult to incorporate it into your batter. So when it gets nice and shiny like this, you're going to check the peaks and you want to make sure you have a soft peak, which is really easy to incorporate into your batter. Moving on to your egg yolks, another way to incorporate air into your batter, I repeat the same step with the egg yolks. I add the sugar slowly into them, making sure that it's dissolving and it's whipping nicely. And like I said, this is also incorporating air. And the more you whip it, the lighter the batter is going to get in color. And it gets to this really nice and pale color, and coming out of this stage you can see that the mixture is really holding the pattern of the beaters. And at this stage you can add your vanilla essence and check to see if you've reached the ribbon stage. And the ribbon stage is where you create the number 8 or the shape of a ribbon, and if it stays on the batter for a couple of seconds, you know that this mixture is ready. It has enough air and it has a nice structure, just like your meringue. To this mixture you're going to add your coconut milk, whisk it to combine, then you're going to add your sifted flour. I think it would be best to sift it over the batter, and then your freshly grated coconut, and fold that together. And folding is the method of gently incorporating your dry ingredients into this very aerated mixture. So I cut the batter in the center and fold it onto itself. And then I also scrape the side and bottom of the bowl and fold it back onto itself. I try to do that as gently as possible, and I'm introducing about half of my whipped egg whites. Again, repeating that folding method, cutting the batter in half, folding it onto itself. And with this step, because you have two different mixtures with two different viscosities, yes, you want to be gentle, but you don't have to be too finicky, because again, it's introducing the egg whites into that mixture. But with the second batch, you want to be a little more gentle. You want to be gentle for sure with this one, and repeat the folding method. So I've scraped the side of the bowl, push it to the center, cut the batter in the center, folding it onto itself. At this stage, I don't want to overmix this batter. I personally like to mix the batter only until the egg whites disappear. So I'm no longer seeing those white streaks. So I stop mixing right there. I then add the batter to a lined baking pan, and it's lined with parchment paper, but it is ungreased. I think it really helps the cake to rise nicely. And then when the cake is finished baking, that's when a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean, and it's nice and spongy when you touch it at the top. And then I allow it to cool upside down, and that makes a really nice tall cake layer, so that when the steam is escaping, the cake does not sink. That's why I cool it upside down. Now onto your Tres Leches, your cake soak. I combine condensed milk with whole milk, or you can use coconut milk and heavy cream, along with vanilla essence and coconut essence. I whisk that together, and I actually add it to a squeeze bottle and store it in the fridge until I'm ready for it. Now time for the final component, your whipped cream. So I lightly sweeten this whipped cream with some granulated sugar. I add vanilla essence and coconut essence, and I whip it until stiff peak. And as you can see, again, it's holding the pattern of the beaters really nicely, and that's exactly what you want. You do not want to overwhip this or you'll get sweet flavored butter. So to assemble your cake, I add one of the sponge cake layers to a plate, and I use a fork to poke some holes into it, which will make it easier for the cake soak to soak into the cake. And then when I'm finished poking the holes into the cake, I pour over that beautiful milk soak, and I don't use too much because I want the cake layers to still be stable enough for me to layer it. So I add enough that I can see that the cake is nicely saturated but not soggy. Add about half of your sweetened whipped cream to that layer of cake. Spread it evenly, leaving about just a little bit of space at the edges so it doesn't ooze out when you add the other cake layer. Add the other cake layer and then repeat the same step of using the fork to poke holes and then pour over your cake soak. Finish the cake by decorating it with the other half of your whipped cream. If you want to get fancy, you can pipe it or make more to decorate the size of the cake. I just do a few ripples at the top, and I add some freshly grated coconut for texture and just for the aesthetics, because who doesn't love to see freshly grated coconut on a cake? And there you have it, your beautiful homemade coconut Tres Leches cake. When I tell you, this cake was very delicious, it was moist, it was fluffy. So when you slice it up, I like to add some more of that milk soak just to make sure the cake is well saturated, because we didn't over soak the cake, just so that it would be stable. But as you can see, this cake is lovely and moist and delicious. You can see the structure from the egg whites that we would have whipped and the egg yolks that were also whipped creates a beautiful texture in your cake. So if you do try this cake, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you once again for being here with me and Sugar Spice and Rosé, and I hope you get to try this cake. Bye!